A typical work day for me is anywhere from 7 to 8 in the morning to 5, 6, 7, or 8 at night at the shelter, and then I go home and post and talk to rescues and try to save the animals on the line. Sometimes I'm down there at 2 a.m. to meet a transport from New York because that just happens to be the time that they come through. So I've been down there all hours of the night meeting transports and packing cages and getting animals and paperwork ready. So there's really no typical day for me, but it is 7 days a week, and they're all the holidays, weekends, and everything. I'm there, and a couple of my volunteers are there every holiday, all day long, no paid employees.
Okay. Now, to get into the dirty business, what exactly happened?
The exact story, which I've told everybody, but the city officials and Ron Tyler did not want to talk to the people that actually saw it. But the exact story was I was at a transport rescue at 5 a.m. that morning at the shelter, and I had a box that North Alabama Recycling gives us to have people come and donate cartridges so that they'll take them back and give us the money, Hazard the money. And we've been doing that for a while, and he said, we'll do it all the time. And while I was gone on vacation with my daughters, some of the workers there had put Walmart bags, which we asked for donations to pick up things at the shelter and clean with. And they had put Walmart bags in the box. And when I turned and saw it, I said, why are the Walmart bags in our box? If he comes down here to pick up cartridges, he's going to think we don't want to do this anymore, and that's very rude. And so I emptied the box on the floor, new Walmart bags that were donated on the floor.
Yeah.
And then I put the box over there so they would quit doing that because they were just doing it to aggravate me, and put cartridges in it so that they would leave it alone, and when North Alabama Recycling came by, they would know that we still wanted them to do it. And we were late running because, like I said, it was 5 a.m. We had to drive an hour and a half to deliver 14 puppies we were trying to save from getting put down. And so we were going to come back before the shelter even opened and pick up, it was Walmart bags, a little pile of Walmart bags.
Yeah.
And so we left, went to the rescue, everything went fine. We came back, I pulled in the thing with our hazard van, which is what we transport in. And there was a light going out on the top, and I was sitting there piddling with the light before I got out. And Melissa Beasley walked up to the door and said, I need to see you. And I said, okay. And she said, I need to see you, talk to you now. And I said, okay, go talk to me. She said, give me your badge, get this van off the property, because that is Hazard's van. She said, get the van off the property and your van, don't come back. And I looked at her and I said, what for? And she said, you left bags in the floor. I said, okay. I took my badge off, I gave it to her, and then I called as soon as I pulled out, because I thought, Ron Tyler needs to know what really happened. And I called him and I said, I'm giving you the true story of what happened, and I just want you to know this before you make a rash decision. And I told him, and he would only say throughout the whole conversation, I'm backing my employees. And I said, even though they're lying? I said, I don't know what you were told, but, I found out later that he was told that I acted out and I trashed the office. And, of course, anybody that was down there said there were Walmart bags in the floor in what's called my office.
Yeah.
And so the people that I said, you can call these people and ask them, and he didn't. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk to me about it. He said, you're banned. That's it. And he said, and I said, don't you want, even though they are lying, you don't want to know the true story. It doesn't matter what really happened.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, I'm backing my employees. And I said, okay, that's fine. I just wanted you to know so you couldn't say, Debbie didn't call me and give me the true story. I wanted you to know. And I hung up, and I have kept my mouth shut. There has been Facebook, we've had like 17,000 comments on Facebook, or people reading our Facebook page. All we did as my organization on the day that happened is put a post that I had been banned, but we were going to continue our work saving animals and all this. That was it. We put nothing on there. But all of these other people got on there that, of course, knew the circumstance with Melissa and what's happened in her past and the way I've been treated at the city and the county all these years. They knew, so they've been commenting. And it's people we don't even know. But now I hear that he blames us, Hazra, for all these comments, and we don't even know these people. They just know how people are treated, that are trying to help animals.
Now you said that there was the way that you've been treated. Could you expand on that?
I've been there 5 years, and I actually came in to volunteer, and then I saw how horrible it was there, and I took it upon myself to go in and paint, use my own money. I hired people to come in and fix things, use my own money. Basically, I'd be down there on weekends totally by myself, taking care of the whole shelter. And I've done this for 5 years. Throughout that time, the employees did not want me there. They pretty much told me they did not want me there because I was trying to save animals when it's just easier to, it was simpler for them at that time to put them to sleep than to clean for them, feed them, take care of them. It's easier on the employees to put them down. And so I was there fighting that every step of the way. And when they'd take something to the gas chamber, I would start crying and all this stuff. But that was the extent of it. I never did do anything like tie myself to the, cage or anything. And so I have been called names, horrific names. I have been told that to my face they hated all volunteers, but they hated me especially. I have been screamed at, yelled at on Thanksgiving Day by one of the ACOs. And I did, everybody knows it, but nothing was ever done to them. And I have seen some, and I don't want to go into this right now, but I have seen some abuse to the animals. Mm-hmm. And I reported it to the people involved, but I did not go publicly and say it, and I don't want to go there right now unless they, force me to. And that's for 5 years. And I stayed there. I would go home crying at night, but I stayed there to fight for the animals. They were not going to they were not going to win and cause me to leave and go back to the way it was. So I stayed there. I cried every day. I cried there, and I was basically treated horribly at first there. And then Hazard was formed, and we started getting volunteers, we started getting fosters, we started getting people that wanted to be a part of the team that actually saved the animals. Yeah. And so we were actually in there doing the employees' jobs because we wanted the animals better taken care of instead of left in, feces and not taken out and not touched and not socialized with. We wanted to do a better job. So we actually, unfortunately, we did their jobs for them for a long time. And they got used to that, but we didn't care because we were doing it for the animals. And then we got to where I formed a foster group, I formed a rescue. I learned that totally on my own. But we probably get out, 150 to 200 animals a month with my rescues, and that's what I do at home all night. And I was on the computer like till 2:30 a.m. That's why I look like I do last night trying to save them. And but I stuck with it because they were not going to fight and get me out of there. They wanted to get me out of there. They tried everything in the world to get me out of there, but they did not get me out of there. Mm-hmm. And I think it's come down because I have been fighting so hard with the city and going to the city council, the county commission, the mayor. Trying to get a new shelter. We have mold and mildew. We have water coming in. It is pathetic. And I've fought and fought and fought with that, trying to get information from them on how to do it correctly, how to do it, the way that they wanted it done. I have fought for more operating expenses, anything. I have fought for everything. And I think, and I have been told, this really hurts, but I have been told recently that they've been wanting to get rid of me for a long time, and this was the way to do it. They just didn't have anything else but the bags on the floor, I guess, which is ridiculous. But
now I have a copy of the report here, and it says that they said that you undermined their policies.
Well, that is funny that they said that because I have never once, not once, been called into the office of Ron Tyler or Melissa Beasley, not one time, and reprimanded. Not once. Not one time.
What policies do you think they're talking about?
I have no idea.
Why do you think they're doing
There
this?
is one circumstance, and I'm going to be very honest about everything. When Melissa first came down there, she didn't call me in her office. There was no reprimand. She just told one of the other people there that something about how the ACOs would be driving my van, the Hazard van, to transport animals. And there were reasons why I don't want them doing that, and I'm not going to go into it, but if they force me, I will tell why. And I don't think the city wants to know, people out in the public to know why. But I'm not going to do that now because I'm going to give them a chance to take all this away. But I went in her office and I said, the ACOs cannot drive Hazard's van. The rescues have picked the dogs at that time, so they belong to the rescues, not the shelter, and they're traveling in my van, and the ACOs will not take these animals. I don't want them touching them, having anything to do with these animals. And she said, why? And I told her why, and that's part of the thing that I don't want to go into today. And she screamed and said, you cannot tell me what to do. And I said, I'm just telling you, they are not touching my animals. And I walked out. Later on that afternoon, she came to me and goes, Debbie, I've got it all straightened up, like nothing had happened. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, oh, they don't want to drive the van. It's on the weekends and they don't want to use their private time. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. That was the extent of an altercation her and I had. But again, she did not call me in her office. It was not a reprimand. I went to her. And that was the only thing there that happened. So that is all made up. I would like for everybody concerned to go to them and ask to show them, because when you're reprimanded by the city, you have to be shown a piece and sign it. Mm-hmm. Ask for those, because there are none. And the comment that he made that I don't remember. I didn't watch it, mm-hmm. and I haven't read anything on Facebook. I have not commented on Facebook. I've stayed away from the drama because all I care about are the animals. Yeah. That's it. But I heard that he made a comment that I threatened him or something. He's office. I mean, he's the police chief. I mean, look at me. Do I look like a threat, really? And he said something to the effect that I threatened him, and I'll tell you exactly that conversation. And he's never called me in his office. I called and asked to speak to him because Melissa told me that we had been promised a part-time employee in the new budget, and she came to me and told me we weren't getting it. And I said, why? And she said that Ron said it was his fault. So I called and said, can I talk to you? And he said, sure, come on down. That was it. Went down there, and I said, why aren't we getting a new employee? He said, it's completely my fault. I'm sorry. I take the blame. I didn't put it in the budget. I looked over something, and I didn't present it to the city council, so you're not going to get it. And I said, but that's your fault, not ours, so can you fix that? And he goes, no, it's not going to happen. And I said, so you can't do anything to make right what, you made the mistake on. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. And I said, Ron, I'm tired. I've worked 5 years trying to do the right thing, trying to do it the correct way, and I'm tired. I said, I'm not doing it anymore. This is where, and I can't remember my exact words, but I said, either I'm going to fight, I can't remember, I'm going to fight now, or I'm tired of being nice, or something like that. If he had have said, Debbie, what do you mean by that? And I didn't want to go into it at the time, but Hazra has thought for a long time of pulling out of the shelter and working from the outside, so we don't have to put up with this abuse. And that's what I meant, but he didn't ask, didn't say a word, and I said, okay, thank you. Got up. He followed me to the door outside and said, Debbie, I just want you to know I respect you. I appreciate everything you've done. You're a great asset to this community for all the hard work you have done on your own. Said that, and I just walked off. I didn't say thank you or nothing. That was the extent of that meeting. Those are the only 2 meetings ever that occurred where I got really upset and said, and I've told you word for word what was said. Mm-hmm. They can't say that's the way it was. I've never been called in ever, either one of their offices, for a reprimand. So I don't know what all that means. When I was reprimanded many times, it's not true. And how do you fight the city on untruth? How do you do that? How do you say this? I've told you the exact conversations of both those times. That's the only 2 times there was any really altercation, and I don't even call that altercation. But that's it. So how do you fight? How do you fight someone that's telling untruths?
Now, you said that over the phone that you were tired of of all this, and you probably wouldn't return after the suspension.
I I think what he's doing is trying to pacify. He's saying all of that, which is not true. And then he's trying to pacify the people that really care about the animals by saying I can return in 30 days. But you have to understand what he told me and what she told me, that we can sit down and evaluate the situation after 30 days. And if I come in that meeting with an attitude that I am only there to help the employees make their jobs easier, I'm not there to make the jobs easier. I don't care about the employees. I'm very honest. I'm telling you, I don't care. I care about the animals. Yeah. My personal mission when I started this was to save the animals. Hazard's their mission primary only is to save the animals. I don't care about the employees. I'm not there to make their jobs easier. But they said numerous times, your position will be to help the employees make their jobs easier. I would be under them to tell me what to do. I'm not there to do it. I'm there for the animals. That's it. Hazard's there for the animals. So I told him right then and there when he told me, and he didn't put that in his press conference either, but I said, forget it. I'm not coming back to make the employees' jobs easier.
So what are your plans now?
We have a wonderful dream. I can't even, and I'm going to get emotional. We are looking at some property that will be owned by Hazra, and it is property that will be able to house some animals so that we can pull from the shelter, save them that way until they go to their rescues or adopted. And dogs that are going to be put to sleep, we'll be able to save those. And it's got a stream, and it's got housing that's a much better situation than the shelter is. And they can run and play outside, and it's absolutely beautiful. And we are trying so hard to make this happen quick, because I don't want animals dying. That's my hope. I mean, the day I left there, I cried all day long, because I thought, they don't understand, people don't understand how many animals can die in an hour's time if the shelter's full and 50 animals come in. Mm-hmm. And I was there, all day long, calling and getting on Facebook and getting rescues so that wouldn't happen. Now I'm not there. I don't know what's happening, and it's killing me. Excuse me. But this piece of property would be heaven for those animals. I mean, I was thinking this morning, if we did this, they would think that was their new home and wouldn't want to leave. I mean, they would be like, they would have all of the Hazard people there loving on them and kissing on them like we do when we're at the shelter. I'm afraid they wouldn't want to leave, which is fine too. I mean, we'll handle that. But the people in the community that support Hazra would love to come out there and walk dogs and take care of dogs out there, because the stress, the complaints that I have had over and over from our volunteers and fosters, which we've lost a lot, because the employees at the shelter are so hateful to them. They're so hateful. I had a foster walk in the other day, and she called me and she said, we're not going back. And these are people that have 11 fosters right now for us. And she said one of the days she walked in with her dog to get a vet appointment. One of the ACOs said, you can't come in here. Go around. Go outside. You can't come in this way. And she said, they are so rude. She said, that's it. We're not going down there anymore. She said, we will work with Hazard, but we're not working with the shelter anymore. And people have put up with this because Hazard was there, and we were trying to do the best for the animals, so they've put up with that so that we could be down there. And we've all put up with so much abuse and hate and everything else, but now we won't have to. Can you think what a sanctuary that would be, to where we could do what we love, save the animals still, and not have to put up with hate and abuse and lies? I mean, I can't even imagine what that's like. The last 5 years of my life have been filled with that.
How are you guys planning on obtaining this land?
Well, we're going to need funds, and we're going to try to put a Facebook page that people come out there and look at it with us, mm-hmm. and just walk around. There's acres, so I mean, it's wonderful. And if we could get the public and the community to help us with this, it would be part of their lives too, not just Hazard's. It'd be part of their lives, and they will be able to come out there and sit down with the dogs and love them if they want to stay all day. I mean, this place, people will come out there and not want to leave. I mean, wonderful. And if we could get the funding on this quickly so there's not a break, that's what we're all worried about. We don't want a huge break in the time span before we get this, because animals are dying. And that was not happening that much. The volunteers, because of Hazard, because of our work, that shelter has gone from, when we first started, 85% kill rate. 85% kill rate. 5,000 to 6,000 come in a year. If you do the math, you can figure that out. Yeah. We have gone to 12%. 12%. That's 2% away from a no-kill shelter. 2%. All done through HAZRA, not through city employees, not through the city, the county. But they are reaping the rewards of, yeah, we're almost done. But then I was told, well, actually Ron Tyler told me on the phone that they would, even without me there, they would do everything possible to make sure that many animals, they couldn't, you know, they wouldn't go beyond, up and beyond. I don't know what his exact words, but he was letting me know that it wasn't going to be as good, you know.
Yeah.
But if we can make this happen quickly, there won't be so much, their animals will be lost. There's no doubt about that, because we're not there. But we are doing, I'm at home right now. I mean, I stayed up till 2:30 last night posting animals that were going to get put down. We've asked some of the employees to send us pictures of the ones that are going to be put down. They sent me pictures yesterday of 5. I got rescue in an hour of all 5. All 5. So, I mean, we're not stopping. We will save any animal that we can that we have. I just don't know what's going on down there now, so I can't actually be responsible for the ones that are dying.